Hello everyone, I am Balasubramanian. Today we have got a couple of questions as an assignment in this Day 10 Freshers Training Program. So without any delay, let's get started. The first question is, pick a login screen of app.taskforce.com and write all the possible test scenarios. I have wrote my test scenarios in my Google Sheet. Let me share them. So I have wrote two test scenarios. One is TSTF001 and another represents TSTF002. These two are nothing but the user defined unique names which is given to both test scenarios and both test cases. The first scenario is the functionality verification of login page of the task force domain. The next test scenario represents the functionality verification of the forget password in that login page itself. Under each test scenario, I have wrote some test cases to ensure that the bug is properly caught and it's been fixed. So the first test case is entering the valid email address and valid password. So I have wrote these test steps. First, we need to click on the domain. Next, we need to enter the email address, which is a valid one. Then we need to enter the valid password and click on the submit button. So which gives us the successful login and the home page is displayed. If the software is working as expected, so the actual result should be this as expected. The status should be pass or fail. Since it is passing, so I am giving pass. So the tester needs to think the user point of view and needs to give the test cases. So what if the user enters one valid email address and the invalid password? The same steps need to be followed, except the user giving the invalid password. So what it should show, the text should show invalid name or password within the login page itself. It should not go to the home page of the application. Since it is working as expected, the actual result should be as expected. If it is not working as expected, we should write actual result, like it is going into the application and the home page is displayed like that. Since the status is passing, I have put it pass. So for the third login, what if the user gives the invalid email address and the correct password? The same steps need to be followed, except he needs to give the invalid email address. So what the same invalid email address or password is being shown. So the result is as expected. So we can put the status as pass. The next is both email address and the password becomes invalid. What it will happen? The same thing. The expected result should be either invalid email address or invalid password. There should be a pop-up saying that the invalid name or invalid password is shown. So the user may understand that either both of them are wrong or either one of them are wrong. So according to that, he may change the password. So if the result is as expected, the status may be passed. So I've wrote the next test scenarios, verify the functionality of the forget password. So I have wrote three test cases in which we need to check the forget password thing. For forgetting password, just we will be having one text box, which is we will be giving the email address, so that for giving the email address, it will be a password link should be sent to the email and we will be giving a new password. So let's discuss the test cases. The first one is enter the email address which is already registered. So the test step should be clicking on the domain apps.taskforce.com and clicking on the forget password and giving registered email address. Registered email address in the sense we should give the email address which is already signed up in this app.taskforce.com domain. So the next one is click on request password. What the system will do, the system will be checking whether the given email address is registered in our domain or not. So if the email address is registered, what the system should do, the system will be sending an email to the email address showing that the password reset link consists of, and the user can recover the password. So this is the one. So if it is working as expected, we will be giving as expected in the result and the status as pass. So the next test case is email address which is not registered, which means it is not even signed up in the taskforce.com website. So the same steps need to be followed, except the fact that we will be giving an unregistered email address. So what it will do, it will show a pop-up message that email you entered is not a part of this application. So it is working as expected and I'm giving it as pass. The next one is giving blank text. Blank text means the user may not give anything, just for checking what it is happening. So we will be giving just a blank text or blank spaces in the email address text box. So what the system will do, it will show a pop-up that please enter email, and it is working as expected. So I am giving pass. So that's all about the first question. Let's move on to the second question. The second question is, which test scenario you will execute in case of smoke testing, sanity testing, retesting, regression testing, cross-browser testing, and user acceptance testing. Smoke testing is nothing but testing the basic and critical functionality of the software to make the build stable. Here, we will be checking all the necessary features in the top level itself. Here, we will be having both login functionality as well as the forget password functionality. Both will be checking in the top level. If both are executed perfectly, that test cases needs to be included in the smoke testing. Next one is sanity testing. Sanity testing is nothing but testing only one functionality into the greater depth. We should be checking on nook and corners of that feature in that application. For example, forget password. Let us take. We should be checking on all of the things that giving the unregistered email, giving the registered email, giving blank text, giving invalid email address. Everything we needs to be covered in the sanity testing. Retesting. Retesting is nothing but when the login page is being developed, when a tester finds a bug in that login application. How it is also accepting the email addresses which does not have the @ with it. So what the tester can do, tester can raise a bug and the developer fixes it. After the development is done, the tester again retests the bug again, it is appearing or not. If the @ is, if it is throwing us error without even @ so it is successful. That is what the retesting is. Regression testing. Regression testing is nothing but testing it again and again, all the features deeply. So if the test cases of the regression testing are automated, it is so much simple to test it. So regression testing, he needs to check the login functionality as well as the forget password functionality in a full depth. The next one is cross-browser testing. Cross-browser testing is nothing but opening the website in many browsers and seeing anything is happening or not. Like UI is mismatching, the text box is going outside or something. Then password field should be masked with the dots. But in some browser, the password field is like actually appearing. So this needs to be tested in the cross browser. Not only that, we can check for security testing, performance testing, load testing, etc. Because all the browsers have been separately encrypted. So we need to test the security also. Performance means on what millisecond the website is getting opened, on how many persons can actually access this website at a time. Everything is covered in the cross-browser testing. The next one is user acceptance testing. User acceptance testing in the sense, this is done by the user part of the view, whether everything will be accepting or not. Here, login page and the forget password page, both are very, very important. If the forget password feature is not existing, users cannot retrieve their password if they forget. So this is also one of the important, everything should be done. Let's move on to the third question. What is gray box testing? Explain with the help of an example. Gray box testing is a software testing technique in which it is the combination of both black box testing techniques and white box testing techniques. In black box testing, the internal structure of the application is unknown to the tester, means it is being hidden from the tester. Also, the tester need not to know what is happening within the application for performing the testing process. But in white box testing, the structure of the application is known to the tester as well as the developer who developed the application. But in gray box testing, since it is the combination of both black and white, it is called a semi-transparent box, leaving that the internal structure of the application is partially known to the tester, meaning he may have some access to the code and he can write test cases according to that. So there are 4 techniques of gray box testing. The first one is matrix testing. The second one is regression testing. The third one is orthogonal array testing. And the fourth one is pattern testing. Here, regression testing and orthogonal array testing comes under the black box testing techniques. So let us understand gray box testing technique with an example. So let us take an application in which the database of that application is accessible to the tester also. What the tester can do, tester can see what are all the data has been updated in the database, and the data type is also known to the user. For example, int, short, byte, boolean, etc. So according to this, he may design the test cases keeping what are all the data is being given to the database and what is the data type is being used in the database. So keeping in that mind, he may create the test cases for that also. So with that, he can create better test cases with the boundary value and orthogonal array values also, and equivalence partitioning, everything. So I hope my answers are useful to you. Thank you.